Alright, welcome to another video, guys. So today is going to be another one of my personal practice sessions, and today I'm actually not going to work on my spares because I was quite satisfied with my spare practice previously. So today I'm just going to work on getting different levels of rotation. That means getting different axis rotation. I'm just trying to work on getting better on my forward roll. That means almost like 0 to maybe 10 degrees of axis rotation, because I want to practice getting my ball to be able to control when I get forward roll of my ball, and also to control when I get side rotation. So I want to practice trying to get 0 degrees to 10 degrees, that's my forward roll, and probably 10 degrees. I don't think I can generate like 0 degrees consistently, and trying to get 45 degrees of axis rotation. I'll try my best not to get over more than 45 degrees of axis rotation, because if I get more than that, I think it's quite hard to control my ball down lane. That means my ball will be too snappy down lane, especially since I don't have like the best ball speed. My ball speed right now is still maybe about 24 kilometers per hour. So you can see here I'm just doing foul line drills, trying to get my hand familiar with the forward rotation. So trying to get more end over end roll, flicking my hand forward, flick forward to get that like 0 to 10 degrees of axis rotation, very little axis rotation. Because I feel like as a two-handed bowler, or just any bowler, right, if you're bowling on, actually I think it depends on the referee as well. Because if you are a one-handed bowler and your referee is only maybe like 300 or less than 300, even if you have more side rotation, like 45 degrees of side rotation, and you play like the first 3 arrows, that means 5th board to 10 board down lane, 5th board to 10 board to around maybe 5 to 10 at the break point as well, you should still do decently alright if you have sufficient ball speed, because your referee is not going to be so high that your ball hooks too early. But for a two-hander, I'm not sure of my ref rate, but I think I'm at least in the 400 ref rate range, to high 300s to 400 ref rate range. So I find that if I want to play like the first 3 arrows, right, around here, around this area of the lane, that means within the first, second to third arrow, send it out, and maybe send my ball out to like board 5 to board 7 at the break point. I find that if I have too much axis rotation, let's say 45 degrees or 30 degrees or 45 degree axis rotation, my ball always goes high, it overhooks off the break point. It goes high, it becomes very difficult to control the pocket. That means it's hard to get my ball consistently to the pocket if I play those kind of lines with too much axis rotation. So I'm trying to like train myself to be able to more consistently generate different kinds of axis rotation at will, which I think it is kind of like underrated skill for two-handers, because I mean, this is the most important things for two-handers. Obviously will be like ball speed, balance, accuracy, but once you are somewhat confident in that, right, I think like generating different axis rotation, and then further, if you're more advanced, generating different axis tilt is kind of like very important to a required skill if you want to get like further in competitive bowling. Because from what I've heard from the most recent Asian tournaments, right, I think PBA tournaments have already done it. The recent Thai Open tournament, I've heard from one of my coaches, my colleagues as well. He mentioned to me that bowlers are no longer allowed to change the surface in between shots during a qualifying series or during a Masters, which means that during practice session, right, let's say you send your ball down to 500 grit, and that's it. So once you start game 1, you can no longer send your ball in between the games, which was what we were able to do like in past Singapore Opens or in past Asian bowling tour, so-called Asian bowling tour events, open events and so on. So since you no longer can change the surface, bowlers can no longer rely on the surface to make their ball like hook early or hook later, especially read early. So since you can no longer rely on surface to make their ball read early, right? So the skill set required will be more advanced. So that was okay. That was about 5 to 10 degrees axis rotation. That's still not too bad. So that means the bowlers will require more touch, so to say. The Americans like to call it touch, where basically you need to have a lot of control with your hand to control axis rotation, axis tilt, and all that. Because you're no longer able to just use the surface, change the surface of the ball and make the ball like read early in between every games in doing qualifying. So you either have to change balls, that means you need balls that have a pre-prepared surface, or if your bag only has like 6 balls and it's full of different balls, right? Then if you can't change balls, that means you need to control either your ball speed or your axis rotation and axis tilt in order to make the ball read certain parts of the lane for whichever line you are playing. Okay, so I've done quite a few of the so-called forward roll, 5 to 10 degrees axis rotation. Now, let's see if I can generate 45 degrees of axis rotation. So I'm still going to try and stay behind the ball. And okay, yeah, that's 45 to more than 45, I think. Yeah. So I think generating 45 degrees of axis rotation is more my A game, what I'm used to doing. Because that's what I've been doing for quite a while. I'll take a drink. So I'm going to practice at least 5 shots of generating 45 and then I'm going to do sliding drill. And practice the same things. So my objective today is just to get myself more confident in being able to generate these different kinds of rotation off my hand, especially when I'm doing 5-step. But I'm not confident in doing that now. So I'm starting from drills such as like power line drills, sliding drills, because it reduces the amount of movement my body has to deal with. So since I have less movement, I can focus on my hands more to make sure that I'm focusing on just the turning of my wrist, how much my wrist turns and so on. And what's the result of that turn. Okay, so if I open up my fingers a little bit more, yeah, that's instantly 45. Yeah, so for this one, I just open the gap between my index finger. I just open the gap between my index finger and middle finger a little bit more. And I'm still rolling the ball forward. That means I'm still rolling in the direction where my index finger is pointing. So my index finger is pointing forward. So this is something that I learned from watching who's that, Carl Sherman in the Brad and Carl channel. Because I've noticed watching the shots and analyzing Carl Sherman's release that he actually points his index finger down all the time. And that was how Carl Sherman is able to get his like his middle and ring finger on the inside of the bowling ball during release. So I've emulated that, I've tried it myself as a two-hander and it still works for a two-hander as well. So I think the theory is more or less similar. So in order to generate more axis rotation, just open up the gap between the index and the ring finger. Make sure index finger is pointing to the target. Oh, that was a fail though. Yep. So that was fail. That was like 10 degrees axis rotation, which is not what I want. I wanted 45. Let's try again. Okay, so I have a little bit of masking tape on my ball because I'll be trying to like go through my replays and count my ref rate based on the amount of times that I see the masking tape. Yeah, I'm not getting it. That's still like 5 to 10 degrees axis rotation. I got more axis tilt though. So this, I'm getting more axis tilt, but I'm not getting the axis rotation. So having my fingers to the inside gives me more axis tilt, but not the axis rotation that I want. But tilt is good. Okay, so I still need to turn my hand, I guess. So I can generate the axis tilt with having my index finger pointing downwards, but I still need to get the axis rotation. Yeah, this is more like what I want. It's about 30 degrees axis rotation. So for this one, I got my fingers to the inside, but I kind of like did it like this. I did it like this. I'm gonna try a few more times to see whether I can get the right feel for it. Okay, so I got my hand under the ball to the inside, index finger is pointing forward, and here we go. That's about 30. It's not really 45, but it looks like it's enough, especially with this ball. So the ball I'm currently using is, I don't know what's the name of the ball. Let me wait for the ball to come back. It's an old asymmetrical per reactive ball. Yeah, it's a Radical Reacts, so it's a very old ball. I'm usually using old balls because I try to cut down on the amount of money that I spend on bowling, and I just recently changed my regular ball weight, so I weighted down from 15, so I went from 15 to 14 pounds. So since I'm still new to the change, it's just within like 1 to 2 months of changing, about 2 months to changing. So I didn't want to like spend a ton of money to buy all whole new equipment of 14 pounds because I still have a lot of 15 pounds at home. So I wanted to start with used balls to kind of like reduce the amount of money that I spend. Okay, that's 30 to 45. Okay, so maybe I'll just do 2 more shots, 2 more successful shots of generating that axis rotation. Then maybe I'll move into one-step drills. So as I was saying, yeah, I wanted to cut down on costs, so I went into the used market like Carousel and stuff. Big shout out as well. So if you guys are interested to look for me for private coaching, whether one-on-one or group coaching sessions, you can look for my ad at Carousel, or you can check out my website at bowlingwithcoachcharlie.com. I might not remember my full website address correctly, but it's linked in the video description if you are watching this on YouTube. And my ad is on Carousel as well, so you can search Carousel, search for bowling coach, bowling lessons, and so on, and one of my ads should be there, right? So you can see my rates, and one of my usual locations are usually I coach at Forte, and oh no, this is not enough. Yeah, that's a fail. That's about 10-15 degrees axis rotation. So I usually coach at Forte Bowl, at Kovan, and Westwood Bowl at Bukit Batok. Right now I'm at One Tampines Hub as well. So if you are requesting for one-on-one coaching, I can actually move around to your location, but it'll be a little bit more expensive because it's not as convenient for me. So I have to take that into account, my transport fees and time as well. Okay, I'm still trying to get 45 degrees of axis rotation here. 45. 30 to 45, I guess. Okay. I think I feel a little bit more confident. Let's go into one-step drills, sliding drills. The approach here is a little bit slipperier than what I usually go with at Forte. So I had to change my slides using like Dexter S2 slide in front and the brown heel at the back. Okay, let's go into sliding drill. So make sure that the body is low. Right, body is low, knees are bent. So I'm going to try and generate 45 degrees of axis rotation. Well, I think that's more than 45 degrees. Yeah, rep rate is higher as well because I'm accelerating my hand a lot faster. Swing goes faster. I wonder if I can like reduce the amount of tape I have here. Maybe I can reduce here. See whether this makes tape easier to read or not. Not too sure. Let's try. It's the first time I'm using tape on my ball. Okay, 45 degrees of acceleration. Wow, so slippery. Oh. Yeah, the approach is really slippery. I think I have to change my heel as well. I'm losing grip on the approach, losing traction. Yep, so I changed to the orange heel, Dexter heel, the H1, which is a lot tackier than the brown one. So far I've been able to generate 45 degrees axis rotation. That's 2 shots, let's go for 3 more. I think that's around there, that's like 30 rather than 45, 30 degrees of axis rotation I think. But not as much as I wanted a little bit more. Okay, so yeah, that's I think 45. That's definitely 45. I think I needed to adjust where I place the tape because I'm placing it near my grip, which I can't really see it from my release point. So let's adjust where I place my tape here. Sticking on masking tape is easy, getting rid of it is not so easy, especially since it leaves behind a kind of a sticky residue as well. which I'm going to try my best to get it off the ball. It's kind of annoying. Okay, let's chip. Okay, so where's my PAP? PAP is on this side, on the right side of the ball. So where's my axis of rotation? Let's do like this. Do this. I think maybe around here. Okay, let's try. Okay, let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. Let's see if the rotation is a little bit clearer if I put it there. Nope. It's on the other side of the bowling ball. Nope. Yeah. Oh wait. Yeah, it's wrong. I was wrong. I was putting on the wrong side of the bowling ball. That's dumb of me. I need to put it on my PAP, right? Because when I release, I'm a right-handed bowler. The right side of my ball is facing me. That's dumb of me. Yeah, so guys, I'm learning where to place tape as well. That's so dumb. I need to put it on my PAP. So if my track is here, over to here, this should be my PAP. Roughly, I guess. A rough estimate. Yep, because my PAP is the one that's facing me as I release the ball. For viewers who don't know what's PAP, it's your positive axis point, which is, like what I just mentioned, supposed to be the point that's facing the bowler as you roll the ball down the lane. Yep, kind of like this. I don't know whether you guys can see it from behind. I might be blocking it. So, let's see if we can get a better view. Like maybe from here. Okay, I'll set up the camera on the table. Yeah, from here. Yep, so I didn't realize that I might be blocking the camera. Now that I have my PAP taped up, you can see my rotation a lot better. Okay, so we get low. So I've been generating 45, yep, that's 45 for sure. Okay, so the challenge now is to generate 0 by doing sliding drill. 0 or 10. That is the challenge. How do I generate 0 or 10? Let's try to see whether I can flick forward. Yeah, that's kind of like as forward as I can go, I guess. About 0 to 10. Oh, that's about 0 to 10. So let's repeat another 4 more shots of that. So you can see my ball turns a lot, right? So guys, it's a very high flaring. It's a very high flaring ball. And since it flares so much, but it was drilled to flare so much, I got this drill with Coach Sandra at Westwood Bowl. So I did request for it to be a high flaring, very snappy ball. Yep, that's how almost like 10 degrees axis rotation. So flicking it forward. Okay. Oh, trying to get 0 to 10 again. Relax. Okay. Yep. It's about 10 degrees axis rotation. Seems I can't do 0. Seems like not that physically possible for me to generate 0. My hand always has a little bit of tilt when I release. So right now, to generate as little axis rotation as little axis rotation as possible, I'm just flipping my hand straight forward, flipping my wrist straight forward. Okay, I'm also closing down the angle between my index finger and middle finger as well, doing it at the bottom of the ball. Okay, yep, very successful as well. Okay, I feel quite confident. That release seems more or less consistent. So let's change it up. Let's go into 3-step drill. So I go into 3-step drill and still generate 10 degrees of axis rotation. So for the casual viewer who's like not sure what's axis rotation, just a little bit of explanation. So if your ball like spins this way, right? So the more your ball turns, so if your ball like spins this way, like sideways, there's more axis rotation. So how the angle which your ball rotates is the angle of axis rotation. So if this is 0, that means your ball goes end over end straight forward. That's 0, and this is maximum. If it goes sideways this way, that's 90 degrees. So anything in between is you can measure it, I guess, using a camera by looking at the footage and so on. You can roughly measure the axis rotation. Okay, I'm trying to do 3-step drill, right? Okay, so my 3-step drill is I kind of forget what's my 3-step drill. That's a bit too much. A bit too much axis rotation. That was like maybe 20, 15, 20. I wanted like 10. I'm gonna cut down on the axis rotation. Okay, again. Okay, I wanted to cut down on the axis rotation. So, yeah, something like that. When it left my hand, it was about, not too much, maybe I want to go deeper left. Because right now, the right side of the lane is completely dry. So when my ball touched there, it hit the friction and it made my ball flare. Which made it a little bit harder for me to read what was the axis rotation of my ball during my release point. Okay. I go a little bit deeper. Yeah, that was a little bit too much. A little bit too much axis rotation, I think. On a full try. So getting to generate like 10 degrees of axis rotation, doing like 3-step to 5-step is going to be a challenge for me. Okay, trying next to it, flick my hand straight, flick it straight. No, my ball is stuck. Okay, let's throw spare ball down. Somehow with my spare ball, I find it easier to generate 10 to 0 degrees of axis rotation. I'm not sure why. I am honestly not sure why is that. Maybe because my spare ball is slightly lighter. My spare ball is like heavy 13 instead of 14. Left. So that was a fail. I fell off balance. And when I fell off balance, I had to turn my hand and release my shot, which made more like 45 degrees of axis rotation instead of 10. But at least my balls came back. Okay, again, how to get end over end. Yes, yeah, that was good. Yep, that was like 5 to maybe 10 degrees of axis rotation. So how I tell is that the tape was facing this way. So I almost couldn't see the tape at all, it was directly facing the other side. If the tape was facing like 45 degrees this way, to me, that means I'm generating 45 degrees of axis rotation. A little bit of dirt on the track of the ball. So the dirt actually comes in from the back end ball return machine and so on. Especially you're using a very shiny, tacky ball, because it's a little bit higher friction, it tends to pick up a little bit more dirt. Because actually shinier balls, right, have a higher friction. This was not bad. Still acceptable, I guess. Why one? It's about 5 to 10, I guess. Maybe 10. Or maybe even 15 actually. I can't really tell for sure. Just eyeballing it. So it's not entirely accurate. Just go a bit deeper. Nope, this was 45. That was definite fail. You could see the tip facing the left side of the lane. So that was like 30 to 45 degrees of axis rotation. Yeah, I definitely turned that. So couldn't get it to go forward and over and roll. Yeah, I need a lot more work generating that 10 degrees of axis rotation on release. Also getting it consistent as well is going to be another challenge. That's why I'm probably going to have to practice a lot to get control, to get more consistent control over my axis rotation. Because the difficult thing about two-handers for controlling the ball rotation is actually because we lack a thumb. So we actually need to put in a lot more work to control the axis rotation. Because how you flick the ball, by your release, how your left hand holds onto the ball and everything, it's a lot more critical since your thumb is not in the ball itself. Okay, let me try and finish off this. Okay. So tilt my body to the right. A little bit too much. A little bit too much axis rotation. That's like maybe 20 degrees of axis rotation, a bit more than what I wanted. I wanted 10. It's around there. I'm getting the hang of it. Definitely feeling a little bit more confident, a little bit more consistent, but still a long way to go. More practice. Okay. That was not bad. That's not bad. About there, it's about there, 10 to 15 degrees of axis rotation. I see that every one of my shots is overhooking. The ball is more snappy, and I'm not really concerned about hitting the pocket. So during practice, I think I mentioned it in my previous spare practice session, just come with an agenda, come with a focus, something you want to work on, and disregard the pocket, disregard the scores, ignore the pocket, ignore what other people think. It doesn't really matter. What's important is what you think of your practice session today, right? Whether is it a successful practice session or not. Oh, it's about around there, 10 to 15. Because the tip is facing to the side most of the time. So what's important is what you think of today's practice session for yourself. So make sure you come to practice with a focus in mind and just focus on achieving that objective that you set for yourself for today. So it doesn't matter to me that all my shots are overhooking, because I'm not trying to hit the pocket. I'm trying to repeat the way that I generate certain axis rotation. So that's just my objective for today. So just swing 3-step drill so that my swing is faster. So when I swing faster, I can still have control over the ball to generate the axis rotation that I want. Okay, let's try one more shot of low axis rotation, and then I'll go back to trying to generate 45 degrees of axis rotation with 3 steps. Okay, one more shot. So I close down the angle between my index and ring finger, and I'll focus on following through upward, flicking the ball forward. Okay, so I'm trying to flick the ball like forward this way, right? If I'm facing the lanes, just flick the ball forward this way to try and get more end over end rotation. Okay, now let's go to 45 degrees of axis rotation. So open up the angles a bit. And yeah, that's more than 45 degrees. That was like 60 degrees of axis rotation. That's too much. That's way too much. So that one I thought of turning my hand, and I turned way too much. So you have so much axis rotation, then you'll find that as a two-handed bowler, it's very difficult for you to control your ball motion down lane as well. Okay, so again, I open up the space between my index finger a little bit more. Yeah, that's more like what I want. That's closer to what I wanted, about 30 to 45. Yeah, I still got a few more frames. I finish first. Yeah. Okay, take your time. Yep, I was talking to my student there. So right after my practice, we have a scheduled training session, coaching session with a student for one-on-one coaching. So I'm gonna finish this up. Okay, yep, that's 45. Okay, that's 45. And get in some spare practice. Let's get in some spare practice also. Can I hit pin 10? Yep. My ball hooked. Nope, missed my pin 10. Kind of. But my timing was a little bit off. I think my placement was a bit off on that spare shot. Okay, that was second shot. That was more than 45. A bit too much. Okay, about 8 more shots, 7 more shots to go. Yep, that's closer to 45. See if I can do it again. Yes, I can do it again. That's about 45. That's about 45 degrees axis rotation. That's good. Maybe I can go into 5-step. Let's do a full approach, 5-step. See whether I can generate 45 degrees of axis rotation with 5 steps. About 5 more shots to go. Yep, that's 45 degrees of axis rotation. Maybe I can go deep. My ball definitely will come back, just like whether I'll hit the pocket. So next time I'm gonna try and like go stand at maybe my feet at 35, left feet at 35. Which I think I need to put my left feet at 40 or 39, I think, in order to maybe guide the ball to pocket. Okay, left feet at 39. Okay, let's see whether I can generate 45 degrees of axis rotation here. Too much? Too much. Yeah, that's fine. 60 degrees of axis rotation. So that was a fail. So I'm sure you could see, right, if you're paying attention to that, that the tape was facing too much to this side. So that was too much axis rotation. That's like 60. So the ball definitely overhooked, went out of control. So let's see whether I can get 45 again. Standing at 39. 39 board. And okay, that's too little. That's a little bit too little. That's more like, how much is that? 20, 30, about 30, not enough. 20, 30 degrees of axis rotation, not enough. It went to the pocket though. So you can see how standing at the same spot, hitting the same target at the arrows, similar breakpoint, but just by controlling your axis rotation, the ball ended up in a different spot. Okay, that's more like what I wanted. But I ended at a different breakpoint though. So I didn't get the breakpoint I want. That was more to 45. Okay, last shot. Practice. Stand at 39 again. I think that was a little bit too little, like 30 instead. It's definitely not easy for me to control my axis rotation at 5 steps for now. So I'm gonna need a lot more practice. Okay, see you guys next time. We'll end today's session.